All right, folks, so there we go. Now we got it. We got to open up at nothing but surprises. So our chain wheel is next to nothing. It looks like a new chain, and you can see the colors have hardly changed. That is still white. It looks whiter here. However, I was able to pull out the oiler tubes, and it actually broke off in here, so I got to fiddle fuck this thing out. That's the first thing. It looks actually pretty good. And so what they did is they changed the, you can see how hot this is here. That goes to my, so you pull this off here. Those things are completely worn out, this stuff. I have those, they sent only one and they forgot to send the end caps. That's a Mercedes-Benz dealership. So I got it only for one side. Anyway, what they did is they changed the timing chain. I do not know when, but here you can see it. It got now the still white color. It is not fully wet yet. And there's virtually no slack in it. And I haven't cranked it over into position yet. I will do that here next when I get in there. But now we're starting to look at this here. And you can see here, I have virtually no slack on this. But then again, this tube here on this side came off a lot easier. Let me turn that light around here. See, this came out. And interestingly enough, these tubes, they come out from the rear faster than they come out from the front, for whatever reason. So that was the thing. So the chain is good, full tension there. It's minimal. New guides, or at least I would say they may change that at 300,000 miles. That could be quite possible, but the tubes were not changed, these plastic parts. And then so they went through all of this stuff. They changed the chain, they do this, they do the other thing. They don't fix the ICV, the idle speed valve. And then comes the best part. Instead of buying a new spark plug set, what they did is they got a cheap-ass 6-cylinder set, probably at Walmart. See this? So I got cylinders 1 to 6. Got the new ones, these cheap ones. And 7 and 8. Got the old original 300,000 mile spark plugs. That's why that engine is ruddling, because the resistance between the two plugs is different. Besides of these ones here being worn out after all these miles. So what I'm going to do is just, the distributor and rotor are okay. I have another rotor coming. The cap is good. There's no minimal wear in there. But this is what these people did. So I don't know how you can go through all of this thing, changing your timing chain, the guide rails, and all of this stuff, which is major, major work. And then you wind up putting a $29.95 set for 6-cylinder car spark plug wire set on this engine. And we used the old ones, and you can see this. These ones are old. I mean, this is the original style. This came with the car when that was built in '89. So these are the surprises we're finding. Otherwise, today was a pretty productive day. I got my fuel pump situated. I got the new accumulator in there. And I got the new fuel filter and the new check valves. The pumps are still okay. They're starting to make noise, but I'm not going to change them now immediately. This I wanted to first see, because these are the surprises I'm finding. But this is good, so I don't have to do the timing chain now, at least not for another 50,000 miles or so. I have to double check my timing that they actually put it back together the right way. The wear on the camshafts looks good. The oilers obviously have been holding up for all of this time. And the interesting thing was when I pressurized the system after I put the new filter and the accumulator and the 2 check valves in there, which were leaking, by the way. And the accumulator is the original one. This is the original accumulator which was in there. And that thing is, I would say, probably 32 years old. That's what came with the car. You can see it. So I took this out. These are the check valves which were in there. They're leaky. They will not hold pressure anymore. They were done basically. This was the adapter which came off the filter. And like I said, I have to filter outside because it is smelling like gasoline and I didn't want this in the shop. See, this is already my new hose here for the fuel injection system for the air. And that's going to go in there pretty soon. But anyway, when I jump at 7 and 8 on the relay back there, the pumps would draw first when there was very little resistance, about 5 amps, and then they went up to 9 amps, 9.5. So electrically they're working. I got full pressure. And once the system pressurized, you could hear it squealing. The new accumulator was getting under pressure under that 6 bar, which is around 80 PSI, somewhere around there. And, that was quite interesting to hear this all come to life. And you could hear the CIS making noises, from all of the strain, suddenly getting the full pressure back into the system. And now, of course, we're running completely rich because I got the pressure back up. I have to check this. The next thing I'm going to do now is I'm going to take out the spark plugs and take a look at this. And that's where I may quit for today because I kind of had enough. And then tomorrow I'm going to put the covers back on. I wish I had these hoses here right now is to put them on because that's where the air leaks, the vacuum leaks go. You can see this now better. This hose goes here to this hose here, which goes underneath the CIS, comes out here, and then it feeds into this junction where it goes then in through the idle speed control valve, and then it goes back into your intake manifold and your actual acceleration here. Your throttle body, that whole thing here, that goes then in there. But if this stuff is leaking, it's starting to bypass air here and there and over here and over there. Now the other thing is what I'm going to check is on the CIS is there's a filter in here and there's a little strain filter in here. So I have to take those out. These filters, this is a filter here and this is a filter, that inner nut. And what I mean by the play is, you see this, there's no play. What you want is that this has a little bit of play in it. So when you crank, you're going to get the vacuum, and that little play will help you to accelerate this plate, and then it will open up your fuel, and then you get actually fuel. You can see this there. There's that resistance, and then it comes back up. And that's how this is supposed to work. And this needs to have a little bit of play. But this is the last thing we can adjust after all the other things are fixed. But like I said, we're looking here pretty good on the camshafts. That is mostly just dirt. It's just a little bit rusty. I guess it's set for a while. There's no scorings in there. You cannot see any particular scorings. What you see, what that is rust. It is dirt, really. That's what that is. Otherwise, it looks fine. So I will keep you posted, guys. All right, have a great weekend, and thank you, Mercedes Source Kent, for getting us the tips on the oilers for the stuff. I got the fender cover here, and I thank you to Kaya and to Kent up in Washington State for sending the parts down here. I wish you all a good weekend. Thank you.